this is going to be kind of one of the most important parts of the whole assignment. So if you look at the instructions itself, it actually says, I'll try to grab them here. Step 1 is to make the picture the proper size. So this does not work for everybody's picture. So I'm just going to show you kind of how to change that on your own. So I'm going to just use this picture from, I think this is Casey's, obviously, that she did last year. So if I go to image size, 10 inches by 9.6, I'm going to see if I can just crop this a bit. So yeah, I don't necessarily need it to be on this whole frame, but if I make sure these are in inches, I can put these little lines here at 1 inches, 9 inches. That looks good. So I could also see 0. Can I maybe end it at 9? There we go. So when I get my rectangle marquee tool, I'm just going to crop this image. I rectangle marqueed that image, crop. Okay, I like that better. That works better for me. And now if I go to image size, 8 point, so I'm off a little bit there. I'm actually going to unclick constrain proportions, put it to 8 and 9. Oops. And you'll see there, it doesn't really change at all. But now I have a nice sized image that I can use. Okay, so I'm just going to go File, Save As. I'm just going to change this to scanner class. Okay, PNG. It could be a JPEG, Photoshop, whatever. I could leave it there. So awesome. That's done. Now, go back to the tutorial. It says to save it specifically as Scanner Darkly. You might want to do that. Step 2, create a new Illustrator document. Open up your picture in Adobe Illustrator. Okay, so I'm going to open up Illustrator. If you've never opened it up before, it's probably not on your dock. You might have to look for it by clicking up here, typing in Illustrator. There it is, CS4. If you have any other version, make sure you're using the highest number version. You might get this. Just hit no thanks. Okay, so what do you want to do here? So, create a new template. Sure, print document. Okay, and it might say, okay, here's different sizes. Right off the bat, I want to put Scanner Darkly. Oops, I cannot spell. There you go. Okay, I'm going to make it a custom size. So the width, I know, was 8 inches wide, and the height was 9. Okay, inches, perfect. Okay, so now I get this kind of black rectangle. This black rectangle represents the exact size of my image. So I'm going to go File, and you're going to notice it's a little bit different than Photoshop. Okay, so I've done this. Now we're going to open. To open a picture in Adobe Illustrator, you must go File, Place. So File, Place. Then we're going to look for our image. Mine was on my desktop. Scanner class, place. And it should fit perfectly inside that rectangle. Okay, and it does. So I know I'm good. Everything's awesome. Perfect. Okay, one thing I'll note here, the resolution isn't great because it was 72 resolution. You might want to up that a little bit. Mine wasn't the original image, so that's why mine might be a little bit more pixelated than yours. Okay. If you click anywhere, you're going to see that there's these blue crosses. Okay. That's only to show you, hey, I'm working with this layer. I could also change this. If you change this color here, it'll come up as a different color. Remember, you always want to lock any layer you're not working with. And you have to rename layers. So this one is going to be the background. Okay, and if you, like I said, if you want to change the color, these colors become very important because, as you can see, when it's not locked, it's purple. So it lets me know, hey, this is the layer I'm working on. So it's a nice little reminder. Okay, but like I said, always lock layers you're not working on. Okay, now we're into the new step here, step 3, lock layer, add layer. So if you cannot see your layers tab, this happens all the time, don't worry. So if you're ever missing a tab, like you don't have your tools here, you don't have your layers, all you do is you go up here to Windows and then make sure they're clicked on here. Okay, so for example, color, and color pops up. So things like that. Those are very important. A little tip there. So you're essentially drawing over this image and you don't want your original image to be touched. So I obviously just double clicked it and I've already locked it and renamed the layer. So I'm gonna make a new layer and call it blacks. Okay, so again, very important that yours looks just like this. Save your file, perfect. Okay, so new document. There should be a new document, sorry, a new layer button. Oh. So there's a shortcut for new layer. So if I click right here, this little layers, I can click on a new layer. Okay, again, I'm going to name this one blacks. Red is fine. Perfect. Okay, it should look like that. Awesome. I've done everything. I'm going to save it. Save as. Make sure it's AI file. You don't want to delete that. I like to put mine on the desktop just so I can find it really quickly. Okay, so I already have one. I don't want to replace the one I have. So I'm going to just rename this one class. There you go. Perfect. Awesome. All right, so now we're actually starting to work with the pencil tool, which is one of the most complicated tools if you've never seen it before. Okay, so it looks like the little pencil, but your bottom part has to look like this. So in Photoshop, where this was the foreground and the background color, it's not like that in this. So one's a stroke color. And so anytime you see this white square with a red line through it, that means it says like nothing is there. No color is there. It's transparent or see-through. Okay, so I'll show you how that works. Again, because this has a little black arrow, that means there's stuff hiding underneath, right? So I've never used these two tools. You won't need it. So always just make sure you have the proper tool selected. Okay, and you can tell here right now, this is not correct. Okay, I want to make, I just want to click on that one, but that's backwards. So if you click that, it reverses those. So my foreground color, which is my stroke, and this is the fill color. So it's no fill. Okay, it's not necessarily important to know what that does, just to know right off the bat, that's how you have to use it. Double click the pencil tool. Okay, this is also important. Double click the pencil tool and you'll see this pops up. Okay, so again, just copy down these numbers. For 35%, those are checked. So for 35%, perfect. Just like that, awesome. Start drawing. So start by drawing the thin black outline layers in the major forms and fill the darkest regions. So I kind of like this example because it kind of shows, you how to kind of manipulate things to make them better. So for example, this is somebody's it's just a black highlight of their eye. So it doesn't look that great, and if I just filled it in, it would just look like a normal shape, right? But this is where you can kind of make your own. This is with the pen tool, but I'm going to show you first with the pencil tool. So just by adding a little bit of your own artistic ability, it makes it look much better. Okay, so I'm going to show you kind of my representation of how to use this. Again, blacks is unlocked. That's the layer you're working on. Your background layer is locked. Command plus to zoom in. And you want to find out, okay, where are the black sections of this picture? This is where you might want to check out your picture in a cartoon, because it's going to show you some of those lines right off the bat. What are common practices I've seen people not do? For example, right here, okay, I've seen people outline this and it'll go black. Okay, don't worry that there's a red line around it. That's just to show you, hey, I'm working in this layer and that's where it is. If I click off, you can see it doesn't go there. But you see how now she's got like this black underline. That's not black, okay? That's gonna be a skin tone layer. So we're not gonna do that. But what I really love about Illustrator is I don't need to erase it. I can just click on it and hit delete, okay? So I'm gonna go back to my pencil tool and show you a few little tricks. If I zoom out here, watch what happens if I just, actually, sorry. This tool is going to fill. So let's say I want to do this line right here. Okay, so if I'm doing this line, I'm kind of following along the face, and I'm coming all the way down, and I let go, it fills in. Okay, that is obviously not what we want to have happen. But what's really cool is it gives you a really artistic looking line if you follow it all the way back. So I'm just going to undo that. Remember, Command Z undoes your last step. But now if I click, I'm going to go down the face here, and then I'm going to follow the line all the way back. Okay, and it's hard to tell what it's done. I'm just going to click off of it, and you can't really see it, right? But now when I click this layer off, you can kind of tell. That's kind of a cool, funky line. As opposed to, like, if you were to just draw a straight line, straight lines are so boring. Okay, this is not a straight line. This is more of an artistic line. This is kind of like as if you were hand drawing it or painting it. Okay, you have weight, you have different thicknesses. That looks really good. Okay, so what I want to do in my blacks layer, I'm just going to go back to the tutorial, is you're going to want to outline your image. And I say that not meaning to physically, you're not making like a cartoon fill in the color blanks picture, right? I don't want you to trace every edge of the paper. What I want you to do is basically find any of the dark lines and just kind of highlight them to the point where, okay, I can kind of get a representation when I turn the image off. So I'm going to work on this one for a little bit and show you kind of what I mean. Hair is kind of one of the easier ones. What I like to do is like long streaks that shows like the flow of the hair. Okay, so this isn't necessarily perfect representation of color. Okay, that's going to be black. I'm going to do quite a few of those. Remember, I'm following my lines all the way back. And this doesn't need to be exact. What I like to do with these is it shows kind of like the flow of the hair. Again, like this is where you can cheat images. Like I wouldn't actually do like these little fly up parts. Okay, because that's not necessarily what you want to show. Okay, and if like that one's really thick, I don't like that one, I can just hit delete and restart it. Okay, I might just do this one as well. Okay, so there's some hair. I'm gonna do a few of these little ones. Any time where I see like a really black line. Okay, and again, I would maybe do some of these outlines. Definitely, like right here, you can see this is very black. So I'm just basically tracing these shapes. Remember, I can delete any of these if I need to as well. I'm just going to do a few of the face here. So there's not necessarily black here, but it's basically just going to help me with my color layers. Okay, so watch what happens when I turn off my background layer. Okay, you start to get a sense of the outline. So if you're sketching a person, if you've ever taken any art, or even if you start off by drawing something, usually